Chapter 39, Runaway. I'm waiting in the parking lot for Grammy to finish her last room when I see the two people I hoped I wouldn't run into. Brandy and Tressa. Weird, though. They're walking a dog. One of those little puffball dogs that some ladies carry in big bags over their shoulders. I decide I will not run off. I'm going to hold my ground and talk to them if they will talk to me and hold it together no matter what Tressa does. And no matter what Brandy doesn't do. Hello, Delcy, Tressa says with her fake smile. What you doing? I hold her eyes, waiting for Grammy. So, whose dog, I ask. Miss Devine in Building 3. I squat and scratch its head. It's cute. I don't know about that, but it's worth $10 to walk him, Tressa says. She bends over and tucks the handle of the leash under a big rock. There's an awkward silence until we hear a loud bark from a dog in a car pulling out across the street. The dog that Tressa is supposed to be watching goes running, pulling the leash out from under the rock and darting across the street. He's faster than he looks, and he's trying his best to catch the car with his furry friend. No! Tressa yells, running after the dog. Brandy follows, and so do I. A car swerves to miss the furry runner. Tressa squeals, slowing down. Brandy, too. Oh, no. What am I going to do? That woman will kill me, I hear Tressa say as I whiz past. My bare feet slip a bit in the loose sand on the side of the road. I see the dog up ahead, realizing he will not catch the car. He spins on the side of the road, his leash winding around his feet, and I am approaching super fast. When he sees me, he takes off again, and I am grateful that he's a dog with short legs rather than long ones. If I just grab the leash, I could hurt his neck, so I run alongside of him, bend over, and pick up the leash. However, trying to save the dog, I stumble. I never stumble, but I do now. My elbows are the first to hit the ground, followed by my knees, but I do keep hold of the leash. As I lie on the side of the road, the dog licks my face, and I mumble, "If you like me that much, you could have just sat and waited for me." And something about it makes me think of the old Brandy. I really do miss her. I miss who she used to be. The car pulls over and I stand up. A woman jumps out. Oh my goodness, are you okay? She bends over and looks at my knees and breathes in through her closed teeth. Oh, I am so sorry. I think I have Band-Aids in the car. I'd actually like to sit by the side of the road to have a complete... I'd actually like to sit by the road and have this complete stranger help me with my cuts, but I do what I'm supposed to do. I stand up straight and say, "It doesn't hurt, but thank you." But she begins. I try not to wince. I have to get back to my mom and dad on the beach. They'll be worried, I say. As I walk back, I wonder why I told her that I had to get back to pretend parents when I have a perfectly good real Grammy who will clean my cuts and cover me with Band-Aids. I wish I hadn't said it now. Tressa and Brandy are on the swings when I get back with the dog. Tressa runs over. When she drops to her knees to tell the dog how bad he is, she looks right into my bloody knees. When she stands, I expect a mean comment, the kind Olive would give Ruby when she has Band-Aids, but she doesn't say something mean. Thank you. Thanks, Delcy. I'm shocked. You're welcome. Then she holds out the $10 bill. Here, this is the money I got for walking the dog. It's okay, I don't need that, but thanks anyway. She looks like Tressa again. I'm not giving it to you to be nice. You got the dog back, so I'm giving you the money. I just don't want to owe you anything. Oh, that makes sense. Believe me, you don't owe me anything, I say as I turn to walk away. And I mean every word. Chapter 40, the feeling of being robbed. Ronan and I run up the drive into my little neighborhood. We slow to a jog and then a walk. I bend over and rest my hands on my knees, trying to catch my breath, and then I hear voices I don't recognize, and I see blue and red lights flashing across the front of Olive's house. What's going on? I mumble. I sprint down the road and around the corner with Ronan on my heels. There's a police car in front of our house. I feel like I'm going to throw up. Is something wrong with Grammy? As we get closer, I hear Grammy's voice, a bit of a wail and a cry wrapped around each other. And I am relieved, a bit of a wail and a cry wrapped around each other. And I am relieved she's making noise. Then I'm afraid again. Who would do such a thing? She asked the police officer. Our most treasured possessions. I just don't understand people. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry for your losses. We will do our best to recover your things. We'll check local pawn shops and the like. If you think of anything else, please let us know. Oh, Delcy, baby, we've been robbed. What? I began to think of the things that could be gone that we'll miss. The television, for one. I don't know how Grammy will get by without that. Grammy, what did they take? The TV? No. They left that. It's too hard to carry, I suppose. They took very dear things, though, like my Joseph's pocket watch. Oh, no, I say, my voice trailing off. And I'm so sorry, Dulcie. They took some of your mother's things. Jewelry, pens, old coins, lots of stuff that wouldn't mean a hill of beans to other people, but us. Uh-oh, I think, glancing at the police officer. What have I done? They even took my sweet mother's diamond ring, which I'd given to your mom. It's a tiny stone, but it was big to me for what it was, for what it meant to me. Blah. They even took my sweet mother's diamond ring, which I'd given to your mom. It's a tiny stone, but it was big to me for what it meant to me to have it. What? That was actually a diamond? And I buried it in the backyard? Oh, boy. I say, Grammy. Yes, honey bunch. We weren't robbed. Now, baby, I know it's hard to accept, and I interrupt. No, Grammy, listen, I'm so sorry. I didn't even think. The police officer steps forward. Do you know who took the items, miss? I turn. Yes, it was me. Grammy is on her feet. You? That doesn't make sense. Why in tarnation would you take things that already belong to you? I'm sorry, Grammy. I just wanted to protect them. I was afraid you would sell them if we needed money, and I've lost so much. Well, I wanted those things from my mom and papa to remind me of them, just to have something of theirs that is just mine, which is terrible, I know. I'm so sorry. She looks relieved but embarrassed. Grammy, I'd never hurt our stuff. It wasn't like that. I just wanted to keep everything safe. Grammy laughs. Which shocks me. Well, that's good news, I guess. Good news, Ronan asks. Well, the child cares about her family. I can't slight her for that. I am so relieved. The officer has folded his pad and put it in his pocket. Well, I guess I'll head out then. Seems everything is in order. Thank you, officer. Grammy says, I'm so sorry to have called you out here for nothing. No problem, ma'am. And he is gone. I stand there waiting for her question that I'm sure is coming. So where are our things then? In your room? Oh, no. Well, where then? I buried it all in a jar in the backyard. A jar in the yard? I know, I say. It seemed like a good idea at the time. And it all comes out of me like water over a clogged gutter. You say you can't look at their things because it makes you too sad to remember. And I know that we need money for the car and the furnace that spews the soot, but I was so afraid you would sell the things, and I just couldn't let go of the few things that we had left of theirs. And I feel terrible, Grammy. I'm so sorry. I know the things hurt you, but for me, I guess I feel different than you when I see Papa's things or even my Mama's things, even though I don't know her. Holding the things Papa Joseph loved makes me miss him, but also happy he was my Papa Joseph. Grammy leans forward and comes to me. She cradles my face in her hands and locks eyes with me. Her blue eyes, the color of faded denim, shine. Of course you feel that way, because you have a loving heart. And, well, I guess the truth of it is that you are much braver than your old Grammy. When she kisses the top of my head and I rest my cheek on her soft shoulder, I finally feel like I can sit with the sad and the happy all at the same time and share it with Grammy. Feline Kinder, Chapter 41. Grammy is the best. She promised me that we won't sell anything that was in the strong shoulder jar, and she gave me my mother's whale ring to keep. As I watch the dirt from the jar, I think about how, like a seed in the ground, burying made things grow, but not in a good way. Just like how not talking about things can make stuff feel like a bigger problem and even more confusing. I'm drying the jar when the doorbell rings. Since it's pretty much understood that if the place isn't burning down, I get the door if Grammy is watching television, I swing open the door. It's Tressa, looking at our house the same way she did the first time. Same pink lips all bunched together like a giant wad of bubble gum. The difference is I don't care what she thinks anymore. She acts like she's a secret agent, glancing from side to side, leaning away from the glow of our front porch light, and asking in a loud whisper, "Can I talk to you for a second? Outside, I mean." I step outside slowly. She'd assumed I'd follow. Why not? She's Tressa. She could probably herd bed bugs. She walks around the corner toward the backyard, and I follow her. I'm curious, and she turns around. Hey, why did you do that with the dog? She asks. Because. That isn't an answer. I wanted to save the dog, I say. I didn't do it for you or even the lady who owns the dog. I wanted to save the dog. She stares at the Band-Aids on my knees, enough Band-Aids to make Ruby jealous. Yeah, well, for the record, the last thing I want is to feel like I owe you anything. I already told you, you don't owe me anything. Nada. Zilch. Tressa raises an eyebrow at me. I don't understand. Why wouldn't you take the money? You know, I say. You could just say thank you. She folds her arms. Well, as you said, you did it for the dog, not me. Yeah, I did. Okay then, she says. I just want to make sure that we're even. I think about telling her that we will never be even, as in the same, but I know she wouldn't understand and she'd want to argue. I don't want to win a fight with her. I just want her to go so I can be happy again. Fine, I say, and she turns to go, finally. She's almost out of sight, then stops, turns back, and says, check the back stoop. Huh? There's something on the back stoop, she repeats before walking away. Oh, that's great. First thing I think of is when one of those metal bear traps that snaps one of your ankles if you step on it. I look carefully at the ground with each step, remembering that she knows I always have bare feet. Does she want me to end up with nails in my feet? I hear a high squeak as I approach the stoop, and scratching too, all coming from a cardboard box. I leap 5 feet in one step and carefully open the top. I never thought I'd be one of those people who cry at weddings and stuff. It made no sense to me to cry when you're happy, but I understand it now. In the darkening light, I can see a ball of bright white fur. Then I make out the pink nose. I scoop up my kitten, my very own kitten, into my arms. It's you, Boots, I squeal. Finally, someone I've lost that I've gotten back. Chapter 42, to reveal a secret. Running down the wooden steps at Seaside, I see Ronan at the water's edge. It reminds me of the day I first saw him, standing with his feet in the surf in the middle of a lightning storm. That first day I saw him, I never would have thought we could be friends. Thinking about how wrong I was makes me stop in my tracks for a second and stare at him. Then I run toward him and leap into the air. I land right next to him. Hey, what's up? He looks at me with such a smile I've never seen on him, like his whole body is contributing. What? I ask. What? He answers back. Don't give me that look. You look like you won the lottery or something. Huh, maybe. Maybe I did, or maybe I will. Are you going to tell me? Not yet, I can't. I sigh. I refuse to beg him. Fine, then. He turns away as if he's trying to hide his smile. And my insides begin to argue. One side saying it reminds me of Tressa and Brandy and how they'd make a joke out of me, and the other part telling me that Ronan would never do that. I know he'd never do that. He isn't someone to just watch me eat a sandwich, but I don't like not knowing what's going on. He must be able to tell it bothers me. It's a surprise. Oh, no, I hate surprises, I blurt out. That's one of the reasons I love my Weather Channel. I like to know what's coming. But how can anyone hate surprises? Well, not all surprises are good ones, I say, but then I think about my new kitten. Finally, a nice surprise. Well, Ronan says, you'll find out soon enough. I hope you'll like it. Then he tugs at my sleeve. But come look at this. He runs and I follow him, and I can't believe it. It's not uncommon to find a lobster trap washed up on shore, but to find a live lobster inside? How cool is that, I say. Henry will pay us for him. You know, probably $10. Wait a sec, he says. First of all, I found him, so no way is anyone going to eat him. Look at him. He's beautiful. He bends over and points at the top of his shell. There's even a tinge of blue there. See that? Yeah, delicious. Blue lobster, melted yellow butter. I say to tease him, but crack up over his expression. I know. You're going to let him go, aren't you? I think I've seen this movie before. Yeah, I'm going to let him go. I'm not going to save him and then eat him. That's like one of those horror movies that comes on in the middle of the night. And then he talks in a creepy voice. Here, let me save you. Oh, this butter I'm melting? Oh, that's nothing. That's for a giant piece of toast they're bringing in with a helicopter. My stomach hurts from laughing. He breaks his way into the trap more easily than I would have figured and grabs the lobster, who starts waving his powerful claws around. Ah, he's trying to get me. Oh my, no, stop, I laugh. They can't get you if you hold the body. Ronan doesn't listen and rushes to the water, falling into a giant wave. It knocks him sideways and spins him around. His feet stick up through the top of the wave. If I weren't laughing so hard, I'd try to help him. He comes out of the water looking a little dizzy. Where is he? Where'd he go? I point toward the open ocean. That way, I guess. Aw, man. He rinses the sand from his face and hair. It's awful. I have the grace of a landslide, the flexibility of an earthquake. I'm trying not to laugh again. I can't even count how many times I've been flipped over by a wave. Happens to everyone. Are you okay? It looked like you were caught in a water tornado. I let him go. I meant to bring him out of the deeper water. Well, he's safer in shallow water than out there, I say, pointing to the lobster traps. The most dangerous predators are people. If he's hungry for bait, he'll get caught again. Oh, no, he groans. Ronan, you do know you're on Cape Cod, right? And I hesitate. I mean, aren't you the son of a fisherman? Yeah, I know, he rolls his eyes. I told my father I was saving my money to buy lobsters at the grocery store. He was happy until I told him I was buying them to set him free. You should have seen his face. Was he mad? Nay, he said I'd probably be a scientist one day, save endangered species and stuff. He called me Dr. Gale all night. It was goofy and cool. I'm happy that Ronan's dad is nice to him. Ronan? Hey, Ronan. We turn around. His dad is yelling to him His dad is yelling for him from the top of the stairs. He breaks into that smile again. Wait here. I'll be right back. I watch as he talks to his dad. Ronan pumps his fist like he just made a soccer goal. He jumps a bit and then runs toward me, faster than I have ever seen him run. This time he lands in front of me after a long leap into the air, and I want to laugh. He still looks like he's lost a battle with the sandcastle. Guess what, he says, about to bust. What, I ask, thinking I'm going to find out what this surprise is, hoping it's a good one. My dad just bought a hot dog bun. I shake my head. That's your surprise? Man, Ronan, if you're this excited about that, you must be having a bad week. He laughs. Not just any hot dog bun, the one near the smushed up pickles and vinegar-soaked cucumbers. Wait, what? His whole body laughs. Are you telling me? Yep, we bought the abandoned house. Ronan and I jump up in the air like we're little kids. We can't stop laughing. I wonder how I could get so lucky. And I also think there is such a thing as a good surprise. Chapter 43, a lesson from Moby. The word Nantucket means faraway land in the Alquinian language. That makes sense. It feels like it takes forever to get there on Henry's boat. There's a lighthouse, I yell over the motor as Henry, Ronan, and I cut through the water. Sure is. Brant Point Light, Henry calls. And on the other side of the island is my favorite, San Katie Head Lighthouse. They've already moved that one back once because the bluffs are falling into the ocean at 1 to 2 feet a year. Scientists say Nantucket will disappear completely in about 400 years. I'm going to leave the house in 300 as I don't want to see that. Henry laughs louder than any of us. I've never known anyone who laughs so much at his own jokes. We drop anchor at a place called Tuckernuck. There are a few other boats and a bunch of people in the water, so I ask Henry if I can go in too. He looks around, takes out binoculars. Well, I don't see any seals, which is good. Just stay between the boat and the land. When I dive into the water, I go from sweltering hot to nice and cool. I swim underwater until I can't hold my breath anymore and rise to the surface. Ronan stands on the side wall of Henry's boat looking out at me as I tread water. All of a sudden, his face is covered in fear as he stares past me. I turn and I am unable to scream, unable to move. A gray fin is coming toward me, and whatever that fin belongs to is huge. Dulcie! Ronan is screaming, Dulcie! And there's a splash. Ronan is in the water coming toward me. The fin is coming my way as well. My brain screams to swim, but I can't move. Henry is yelling too, something I can't understand over the splashing and the yelling and the fact that I am so terrified. Ronan swims next to me. He has a buoy. Why? Ronan, be careful, I yell. He faces the fin, looking like he's ready to fight. I finally make out that Henry is yelling, it's okay, it's okay. There's nothing okay about this. We watch as the fin circles. The shark is wide and round. It's enormous. Henry is yelling still. It's a sunfish. It won't hurt you. It's a sunfish. It's okay. It won't hurt you. Wait, what? I turn and look again. Henry is cupping his hands around his mouth to be louder. Look at the fin, floppy on top. It's not a shark. Ronan lets out a gasp, and so do I. We laugh with relief as the enormous goofy-looking fish, floppy on top. It's not a... I'm having trouble today. Goofy-looking fish with the floppy fin circles us. Curious, I guess. I thought you knew everything about sharks, I say. Well, I know a lot about sharks, but I don't know anything about sunfish. I thought the fin was weird, but I panicked just based on its size. It's huge. I point at the buoy in his hand. What did you bring that for? If you hit a great white in the eyes, it sends them off. But you love great whites, I tease him. You would hit one for me? Duh, what do you think? When we were on the boat, Henry shakes his head. You're an impressive kid, Ronan. You really are. But even you couldn't beat a great white. I was going to punch him in the eyes or the gills with the buoy. That stuns them. They'll swim away if you hit them hard and in the right place. I've read all about it in the books, written by someone with no arms, or worse. They're fighters, Ronan says. Yeah, and some fighters, it's probably best not to mess with. Henry looks at me. You know which animal in the ocean is a real fighter? And your mom's favorite, Dulcie? He says, pointing at the ring on my finger. The sperm whale. I touch the whale with my fingertip. She liked them that much? Why? Because they fought back when whalers harpooned them. Right in these very waters, actually. Back in the 1800s. Now, the other type of whales, well, they'd die pretty conveniently once the harpooner stuck them. But the sperm whale, it crashed boats into toothpicks. Pulled boats across the sea at high speed, bouncing over the waves. Men hanging on for their lives. They'd even pull the boats underwater. That was called the Nantucket sleigh ride, and it was deadly for men. Henry stares off at the sky like he's figuring something out. You laugh like her, the way you stand, but you have one big difference. We do? She always waited for ships to come in. But you swim out to them. Huh? She waited for things to come to her. You chase them down. He looks over at Ronan and back at me. You're both like that, actually. It will be great to see what you two manage to make of yourselves. I can't wait. Just a couple more pages. Chapter 44, The Sun Will Come Out. I just about flew across the neighborhood when Emma told me that she had a friend at the playhouse who had given her tickets for us to see Annie. They even got a ticket for Ronan. When I told her how happy I was about that, Esme said, well, he's one of us now, isn't he? So when the big day arrives, Olive, Grammy, the Lascos, Ronan, and I all pile onto a bench in the back of the theater. I see Mrs. Feister first. Then Brandy and Tressa follow. Brandy sees me and waves a little, and I wave back. They head up to the front of the theater and sit really close to the stage. The play begins with, It's a Hard Knock Life, and I think about how differently I feel about that song now than I did before. Papa Joseph used to say that if everyone put their troubles in the middle of the table, most would take their own back. I wasn't sure what he was talking about when I was younger. Now I get it. I don't think my life is too hard knock after all. But mostly I sit up real straight so I can see as much as I can of Michael and Amy. Amy is amazing as Annie. The audience loves her, and I am so proud of her. And Michael turned out to be a great rooster. He acted like such a twit. I'm sure he made Madame Schofield proud. At the end, I am the first to lead the standing ovation. I hoot and holler and yell Michael and Amy's name. Amy looks for me in the audience, and when she finally sees me, she waves wildly. When Ronan and I go to wait outside the stage door to see Amy and Michael, Tressa and Brandy are there too. When Amy arrives, I start yelling, Miss Pollock, may I please have your autograph? I do the same for Michael. Amy unhooks the rope that everyone must wait behind and says, come on, Delcy and Ronan, the director said I can take you backstage. I'll show you the costumes and stuff. Amy, Delcy, Tressa yells, can we come too? Before we can say anything, Michael steps forward. Aren't you the one who rode on her back with sunscreen and treated her like trash all summer? Now you want a favor? I don't think so. Tressa squints. Brandy stares at me, but not in an angry way. She looks sad, actually. It's okay, Michael, I say. I don't care if they come, if you and Amy are okay with it. After everything they did, he asks, are you kidding me? I shrug. That stuff happens earlier in the summer. Just doesn't matter anymore, I say, feeling stronger, knowing that I have real friends who have my back and will protect my feelings. People like Amy, no, don't touch that. Because I'm reading, I'm almost done. People like Amy, Michael, and Ronan makes all the difference. Brandy and Tressa going backstage won't change any of that. Michael's still not convinced. Besides, I say, Tressa came to my house and gave me my kitten boots, and that makes me pretty happy. Brandy whips her head around. What? She turns to Tressa. You did? Tressa shrugs. Yeah, whatever. Can we come or not? I didn't know this was going to be a committee. Why didn't you tell me? Brandy asks her. Tressa looks away. It's not like I have to tell you everything. The look that falls over Brandy's face tells me that Tressa doesn't protect her feelings either. Watching Brandy, I realize this makes me wish I could have kept her from changing this summer, kept her from doing all the things that she did and didn't do. And then I think of my mom and wish I could keep her from doing the things she does, the things that made her leave and keep her away. It really is true that you can control, I'm almost done, other people about as easily as you can control the weather. Amy takes Michael by the shoulders and moves him over. Come on, she says, whoever is coming, come on. And with that, we all follow her up the stairs and into the playhouse.